She spent 20 years studying how people respond to luxury.
Every time someone is with you, they have an experience of you. Is it an exceptional experience that they have of you? Or was it just, okay, we all have a chance to be exceptional.
Let's meet Neen James. She works with luxury brands, billion-dollar companies, and global executives. And her new book, Exceptional Experiences, pulls back the curtain on what's really happening behind the scenes. There are hidden mindsets. There are invisible levers. And when you learn to pull them, customers don't just notice you, they never forget you. If you've ever wondered why some brands inspire loyalty and others disappear into the noise, if you want to elevate your business without spending more money, this conversation will open your eyes in ways most business books don't often do. Let's dive in. All right, let's get going. I'm excited to welcome our guest, Neen James, to the show today. So let's talk about luxury.
Let's.
You say luxury isn't about money, it's about moments. Explain.
I have the only research study of its kind in the world, Brandon, into luxury as a mindset. We talked about that on our previous time together. And what was really interesting about the mindsets research, Brandon, is that there wasn't one, there was four, as you know. But here's what was even more interesting. All of the people that we surveyed in our research study agreed on two things. One, luxury is a reward for hard work. And two, luxury is about experiences, not things. Brennan, I think luxury is a very divisive term. I think people think of it as expensive or elitist or maybe famous handbags or cars or brands of watches. And while some of that could be true, what I believe is that luxury is both inclusive and exclusive. Let me explain. I want to change the narrative around this. I think it's inclusive because everybody deserves luxury every day. It just might look different for you and I. And it's exclusive because we all have the opportunity to roll out a red carpet experience for our clients, for our teams, and for the people that we share our lives with. So think of luxury differently. Think of it as inclusive and exclusive. It's absolutely not about money. It's about moments.
I've often heard luxury aligned with exclusivity. Maybe you can dive deeper into what inclusivity in luxury looks like.
You know, I didn't come from luxury, Brandon. That's something people need to know about me. Okay, I was raised by a single mom and we lived in a tiny little town in Australia where we had one traffic light. And I grew up in a caravan. Now, in America, Brandon, they call that a trailer park. But I remember my mom worked so hard. You know, she would clean houses, she picked fruit, she sold lettuce on the side of the road. And no matter how tired my mom was, at the end of a busy shift, she would walk through a community garden. And she would pick a flower and she would bring it home to our little caravan. She'd put it in a glass. We called it a vase because we felt so fancy. And she reminded us as little girls that it doesn't matter about money or things, that everyone deserves beauty in their life. Everyone deserves luxury. And so it was really my mom that demonstrated this concept that luxury is a mindset, how we think about luxury. And so what I want us to think about is if we want to be more inclusive in luxury, it's about thinking, what does it mean for the person that you're standing in service of? For some people, Brandon, luxury is time. It is things that save them time, make their life easier, right? It could be, you know, using a direct flight instead of connecting. And maybe they pay a little bit more, but they love the luxury of time. It might be using the fast lanes on the freeway just so they can get to where they need to be. And so we want to think about luxury for some is time. For some people, as you know from our luxury mindset research, luxury is creating memories with people they care about. And so when you think about as a listener, what does your product or service do to help people create more memories? That could be luxury to some. Of course, there are luxury lovers who love a thread count or they love to carry a fabulous brand bag. But luxury, to make it more inclusive, we need to know that luxury is for everyone. But we do look at luxury differently. So we have to speak the luxury language of people that they want to hear it in their language.
There a personal experience with luxury that's one of your favorites?
There is, and it's probably going to sound crazy to your listeners, but let me share it for you anyway. I have the privilege of staying in incredible luxury hotels all over the world because as a keynote speaker, my clients have really cool locations that they hold their events. So I, by default, get to go hang out and play. I was traveling to Alexandria, and Alexandria, just on the other side of DC, there is a beautiful brand there called AKA. It's a boutique hotel chain. I think there's about a dozen in the brand across the East Coast and also in LA. And when I checked into this hotel, it's a very sexy vibe, phenomenal artwork, amazing, great location. I love Alexandria. I'm pretty sure I'd live in one of those brownstones if I could. Like, it's an amazing little town. As I approached the reception desk, there was this massive big dog, and his name is Senna, and he's the hotel dog. So I love when there is an animal on property because I miss my own furry baby when I am traveling. So I'm on the floor, I'm cuddling with this dog, Senna, and someone must have taken a photo. I had the most lovely stay, and I thought to myself, this is an incredible hotel. So let's fast forward, Brendan. I had the privilege of being in Alexandria again for one of my clients. So, of course, where did I choose to stay? AKA Alexandria. Well, what do you know? I check in, there's another dog, like at reception. I was like, that's amazing. What a coincidence. No, no. They said, oh, Neen, we knew that you were checking in today, so we wanted to make sure Senna was here to greet you. Well, I was already blown away. But then they were all smiling to themselves. I got to my room, and wouldn't you know, there is a framed photo of Senna and I on the bedside table. But wait, there's more. There was a love note from Senna with a paw print that said, I'm so glad you're back to visit me at the hotel. I mean, come on. That level of, to me, is luxury. Now, maybe it cost them $5, not even. But what it represented to me was that personalization and customization that I think luxury brands are genius at. They had taken the time to know what was important to me. As someone who travels frequently, some of the hotels tend to look the same. They feel the same. You and I both know this because of what we do as speakers. The carpet even looks the same when you're dragging your bag through those corridors late at night. But this hotel will remain one of my most favorites because of that level of personalization. And so to me, it was about feeling seen and valued as a guest. And secretly, the message of my new book, Exceptional Experiences, just between you and me, is how do you make people feel seen, heard, and valued? That's true luxury.
A lot of the time, we associate luxury with quality and that some of that exclusivity. But what would you say are the core principles of luxury that we need to understand?
I can tell you from my research study, it's not even my opinion, it's opinion of hundreds and hundreds of people who completed the research study, and they said that luxury is five things. It is high quality, long lasting, authentic, unique, and indulgent. Now, besides indulgent, Brandon, all those other words apply to us as leaders. You work with executive leaders, and I hope they're all reading Front and Center Leadership because it's a phenomenal book. But we want as leaders or brands to be known as high quality, long lasting, authentic, and unique. Think of the work you do in personal branding. You're helping people find that way to differentiate themselves, to show up more integrity, more authenticity, and truly be themselves. So luxury, in the definition, according to all the people that have participated in my survey, is those things. Now, so yes, I love a little indulgence, of course. But for some people, like I said, indulgence might be paying for a direct flight because it saves them time, and that feels indulgent. It might be upgrading from, economy to first class because they want to arrive at their destination really fully recovered and able to serve for the meeting they're in, or whatever your choices are. And so I think by definition, that's the characteristics of luxury. And I want us to rethink our relationship with luxury. You see, as a luxury lover myself, I believe everyone deserves luxury every day. But that could be the simplicity of sipping my coffee out of a Tiffany teacup. Is that pretentious? Sure, but I only have that one teacup, and I make it a ritual, and I feel really special when I do it. And so we all have to find these moments of luxury in our day. I call them champagne moments. And so it's taking something like ordinary, Brendan, and then making it extraordinary, something that makes you smile, brings you joy, right? It could be meditating a little longer. It might be taking a furry baby for a walk. It might be scheduling a date with a friend. These all feel like luxuries to me, and I think we can bring them into our everyday.
What I'm hearing is there's a level of thoughtfulness.
Correct.
And this speaks to there's ways to start to think about how to implement this, both for ourselves or for a business or a brand. So how do we start thinking about integrating luxury into our daily operations?
Thoughtful is unforgettable. And in our digital AI world, I think we crave the human connection more than ever before, Brandon. If you look at my body of work, I published a book called Attention Pays. And in the book, I said it's really intention that makes attention valuable. Attention's about connection. Luxury is about the human connection. So it's really about systemizing thoughtfulness into our business on a daily basis. So in the book, we have systems of elevation, specific strategies you can do. Now, you'll also know, as one of the readers of the book, that it has 5 luxury levers Americans say levers. 5 luxury levers. And I know you have a global audience. So some of you say levers, some of you say levers. For the benefit of the listeners today, let's say levers. But the subtitle of Exceptional Experiences is 5 luxury levers to elevate every aspect of your business. Now, your business might be your personal brand. You might be the product, right? Or you might be running a corporation, or you might be an entrepreneur listening to this. So if we walk through very quickly those 5 luxury levers, it will give you some idea and insights. Let me just maybe choose 1 or 2 strategies from each one. Does that work for you? Yeah?
Start with one, and then I have another question for you.
Great. The first of the luxury levers is, well, let's take a step back. Think of it like a triangle as you're listening. Think of a triangle, and at the bottom of the triangle, let's put the word mind share, because what this book will do is it will help you capture the attention of potential clients, team members, or customers, patients, guests, whoever you serve in your community. So mind share is really about capturing attention. At the top of the triangle, let's put the word market share. Market share is how do you drive revenue in your business, or whatever is important to you. So the book is designed to help. I work with a lot of CEOs, as you know, in their teams, and they're measured on 2 things, mind share and market share. And so are most of us. So that's really the top and the bottom of the triangle. The first of the luxury levers is entice. How do you really capture someone's attention? And they're asking themselves, why should I pay attention to you? And what you want to do is answer that question through using things like storytelling techniques, sharing your origin story, great visual content. Maybe it's about having creative collaborations with other people. So the first of the luxury levers is called Entice. How do you capture people's attention so they want to know more?
So there's five levels here. I'll go through them real quick. Entice, invite, excite, delight, and ignite is what I've seen. Explain to me like how these started to come together and how you started to formulate these.
Because I have the privilege of consulting to so many luxury and legacy brands, Brandon, I found myself sharing with my clients some of these systems of elevation time and time and time again. Then I started to track, if they do this, then this happens. I was like, that's cool. And so then I started to think, okay, is there a logical sequence to this? Because my body of work was in attention, I realized that luxury was the evolution of attention. So then how do we take the best of all the learnings and all the research studies I've already done into attention, and then think, how do you build on that? Once you've got someone's attention, so what? We hear this term all the time, surprise and delight your clients or customers. But I wanted to unpack for my clients systems they could apply, right? And so that's really how it started. So I thought, okay, well, we've certainly got to get them in. We've got to be able to grab their attention, which is where Entice came from. But that's great. Once you've got them in there, sometimes what happens is brands focus all their time and attention and money and resources and talent into getting clients. But then what I really wanted to do, and I know my clients want, is to create advocates of those same clients. It's not enough to capture someone's attention. What we need for longevity of our businesses is to have those same clients become advocates. So I started to reverse engineer what I was already teaching my clients and seeing results from their work. Then I realized, well, we've got to invite them into our community, to our brand, to the things that we can offer, and to invite them in. The second of the luxury levers, we have to roll out that red carpet experience so they feel like we see them, we hear them, and they're important to us. And that means we have to speak the language they want to hear. So it's really about then giving an opportunity to demonstrate the expertise that you have so they want to stay with you. So that's how it started to evolve. And then I realized, okay, great. We got their attention. We've got them here. But how do we get them like so excited that they want to keep being with us? Well, we need to do things that are share worthy, that they might say, grab their phone and want to take a photo and post it on social media. Or maybe they want to tell a friend about it at their country club. And then I realized, okay, that all sounds great, but how do we systemize that? And so for years, I've been talking about systemized thoughtfulness, a program to build advocacy of your clientele. So pop that in the book. And I was like, oh, well, I tell my other clients about that. Let's tell the world about it as well. But I thought it's not enough to excite them because, yeah, sure, you might have elevated their experience, but how do they feel like they're the most special client you've ever had, most special guest, student, or patient? And then I realized, wow, we have to delight them, but the way to do that is how do you show them you really know them so well that they feel seen, heard, and valued? But it doesn't stop there because that's all great. But what if they just keep it to themselves? How do I then get them to tell the world about their experience, regardless of their personality, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert? I don't care. How do I get them to ignite the opportunity out in the world to share with others? And then I realized you really got to educate your clientele on what kind of referrals you want. So we've got to educate them for the referrals. So I started to really think through all these things that I've been doing with my clients over the years. How do I package it? Which is where the experience elevation model came, is because I started to really reverse engineer the results I was getting with my clients, what systems of elevation they were implementing. And then I thought, well, we can make this available to everybody. And that's what the book does.
Yeah, and if people are wondering what the book is and where to get it, just a quick pause for everyone listening. The book is called Exceptional Experiences: 5 Luxury Levers to Elevate Every Aspect of Your Business. It came out in October of 2025. And if you want to go to neenjames.com, Neen James.com, that will be in the show notes. That's the easiest place to find the book and dig in. And what I would say, Neen, what I enjoyed is I could hear your voice in the book. I could see little bits of your personality as I was reading through it. Pivoting a little bit here, I'm curious, what would you say people or brands are still getting wrong when they are trying to elevate experiences?
I think we know what luxury isn't. Luxury isn't conflict point, making me fill out a form 5 times, forgetting like that I've already registered in the Wi-Fi code and making me do it again. And so we know what luxury isn't. It's not dragging. It's not luxury to drag your bags to the airport. It's so luxury to have someone meet and greet you and whisk you off to your next, place. And I think what brands are overlooking is the conflict points of their clientele. So if we call everyone clients, customers, patients, students, whoever you serve, right, members, what I think we need to do is we need to look for the things that don't feel or look or sound or smell like luxury. It could be the simplicity of walking into your office or reception area with a fresh set of eyes, as if you were mystery shopping your place of business. What do you notice? Are there weeds in the garden? Are the magazines out of date? Is the coffee machine old and disgusting? And yet you're still getting your clients free coffee from this awful, old, outdated machine. What we need to do is take notice of what's not luxury for our team, for our clients, and for each other. And you know what that can also be, Brandon? Too many team meetings, too many messages, right? Give people their time back. If you're having a meeting for the sake of a meeting, that is not luxury. We don't want to be there. And so I think many brands are trying to make things maybe look or sound more expensive. But you know what's not luxurious? When I'm tired and exhausted at the end of a business day, or if your brand feels or smells or doesn't feel luxurious to me. A little tip for listeners, women in particular, if you have female clientele, they notice the restrooms. They pay specific attention to what is the cleanliness, the smell, the amenities that you provide. How easy would it be for everyone listening? And some of you are thinking now, oh, I don't go into the ladies' room. Fine, then get one of your female team members to go in. But I think these things are so easy for brands to elevate. I remember the first time I went into the bathroom of Sheltair. Sheltair is an aviation company I featured in the book. The president, Lisa Holland, female CEO, family first values. It is one of my favorite stories in the book. They literally roll out the red carpet for people who arrive on private jets. Now, I know you're not all running aviation companies. The first time I went into their bathroom, it smelled amazing. It was so bright and clean. And they had all these lovely amenities on the countertop, hair ties, hairspray. And as a female in that bathroom, I was like, I didn't know I needed a hair tie, but I do now. And so what they've thought about, Brandon, is anticipation. Personalization really requires information for us to be able to take care of our clients. Customization requires connection, that we feel connected to the people we want to serve. Anticipation, it requires fascination. So what we can do if we want to elevate a luxury experience, no matter what kind of brand you have, be so fascinated with your clients. You're trying to anticipate things they didn't even know they needed.
I didn't expect to be talking about bathrooms today. I'll tell you that.
Me, I don't think I've shared that example with any podcast that I've done on this book tour.
It's all fascinating to me. So I really appreciate us going into all these different examples. What are some of the levers that brands are most frequently forgetting about?
Ignite. We spend an enormous amount of resources on entice and invite, where you're getting people into your business, and then we just forget about them. We've got to educate for referrals. It's something that we don't do well. And I think salespeople sometimes get a little anxious about asking for an opportunity to work for clients. But imagine if we all said, have you enjoyed this? Tell me what you loved about this experience. And then they tell you and say, do you think anyone else that you know would like that experience? Easy. You're adding value to their life. And if you're doing a great job, you will make them look great recommending you or your product and service, because you're an extension of them and their personal brand. Now, here's the other thing that's important about the luxury levers. It doesn't have to be linear. You don't have to follow them in that order. Maybe you've been around a long time and your pipeline is quite full. Maybe you want to spend more time on delighting those clients and converting them into advocates. Maybe you're brand new in business. You're just building your personal brand. Then you may want to go to the bottom of the experience elevation model and really think about your storytelling techniques, your positioning, all of the tools that you need to really tell the story in the world of why people need to pay attention to you. So the great thing is you can join this model anywhere that makes sense for your business.
Yeah, there's a great quote in your book. It says, luxury begins with you, your personal brand, and the ways in which you personalize your connection with others, pay attention, act thoughtfully, and operate in the world. What do people need to know today that you want them to remember?
That every time someone is with you, they have an experience of you. Is it an exceptional experience that they have of you? Do they think about you? Do they go and tell others about that experience with you? Oh, was it just, okay. We all have a chance to be exceptional. And what I've laid out for you is the playbook on how to do that, either as a leader or as a brand. And so the book, what I'm realizing while I wrote it for brands, because I work with so many corporate clients, so many personal stories are coming back to me. You said this, I did that. And so what I want us all to take away from this is that you're already an incredible person showing up in the world. The fact you're listening to this and you're subscribed to Brandon's YouTube channel and you've read his book, Front and Center Leadership, the fact you're investing in yourself shows me that you're a leader. So how do you elevate that leadership so people have an experience of you and that you differentiate yourself? Like I said, thoughtful is unforgettable. So what are the things you're doing to systemize thoughtfulness, to be able to build advocates for you and your personal brand? What are the things people say about you when they experience you out in the world? And when you're not there, what are the words they use to describe you?
It's brilliant. Big fan of this. Again, Exceptional Experiences is the book. 5 luxury levers to elevate every aspect of your business. Thank you, audience, for listening. I hope you've gotten as much value as I did out of this today and out of the book. Check it out, neenjames.com, and we'll catch you all next time. Brands on Brands.